Welcome to video 13.5b. Find the coordinates of a segment's endpoint. All right, so here's example one. A segment has an endpoint A with coordinates -7, -9, and midpoint M with coordinates 4, -2. Find the coordinates of the other endpoint B with coordinates x and y. Basically, find the values of x and y. All right, I'm going to show you two different methods for doing this. Again, whatever works best for you, I suggest, but I'll just show you the two options. All right, the first is just the straightforward use of the midpoint formula. So remember, I've got the midpoint, and remember I know the midpoint is basically the average of those endpoints. So I'll just break it down. So here's this x value, here's this x value, and here's this x value. So I know that 4 is the average of those two. So for the x value, I know that 4 equals -7 plus x over 2. All right, I don't like fractions, so I'd multiply each side by 2 and get 8 to equal -7 plus x. Then I would just add 7 to each side and get my x value to be 15. And I'd do the same thing with y. I'll try it here. So for y, here's a y value, here's a y value, and here's a y value. Again, that midpoint y value is the average of those two endpoints. So I'll say -2 equals the average of those two things. -9 plus y over 2. Again, I'll multiply each side by 2 and get -4 equals -9 plus y, and then I'll simply add 9 to each side and get y to be 5. So the coordinates would be 15, 5. So coordinates of B would be 15, 5, and that would be the answer. All right, I'll show you another way. It's just quick, intuitive, doesn't really involve so much algebra. If you like it, feel free to use it. So I'm going to draw a sketch, just really quickly. So -7 by -9, somewhere down there. Midpoint 4 by -2, somewhere over there. And then the other endpoint would be going in that direction. Okay, so notice that the midpoint is directly at the halfway point. So I could say for this x value to this x value, what was my distance? Well, from -7 going to the y-axis, that was 7, add 4, that was 11. Well, if I went 11 units that way, I would have to go 11 beyond. What's 4 at 11? 15. Let's do it in the y direction. This has a y value of -9. This has a y value of -2. So I went from -9 to -2. I went 7 units upwards. Well, that's a midpoint. I must need to go another 7 units upwards. What's 7 units up from -2? -2 add 7 is 5. So you get the exact same answer. So you choose which method you prefer. So there you have it, how to find the endpoint of a segment given one endpoint and the midpoint.